You are now entering the dojo of Mojo and the Thrive Time Show.
Can I kick it? Yes, you can. 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 This is Clay Clark on the mic again. Myopic focus, tunnel vision. I'm focused on the mission to teach you the skills and give you the plans. Broadcasting from my lands to the left, to the Portlands. I'm here to tell you, you can do it, yes you can. And now, my friend, you got two fans. Hit me the Z, comma, ands. I'll be the C, yes, ands. Now let's kick it like Batman, bam, and get a little nuts like pecans. Greetings to our nation, and welcome back to the Thrive Time Show on your radio. And Eric Chupp, my co-host here, he has actually verified that pecans are in fact nuts. I didn't just say it to conveniently rhyme all the time. I wouldn't do that. Our listeners expect more.
How dare I doubt
from the Caucasian sensation?
How dare I doubt? I thought it was maybe a legume, but it turns out it is a nut.
Now,
well done, Clay.
Now, Chip, on today's show, we've got a special guest here. We have Colton Dixon and his incredible wife, Annie Dixon, on the show. I think I said that wrong. Let me try again. We have an incredible guest. We have Annie Dixon on the show, and some random bozo, a hanger-oner. He's a Christian pop star, whatever
that means. I mean,
if you judge people based upon their talent, skill, performance, then I suppose maybe he matters, but I care not. I care more about virtue, which is why we won't interview him at all. But Annie Dixon's on the show with whoever that is over there, whatever his name was. So, but I've noticed it's not raining inside the studio today, which is a great thing. Have you thought about that?
It's been raining outside every once in a while. And
it was raining.
That is true.
The weather outside has been getting frightful. But yet the weather inside the studio is so delightful.
And
since we have no place to go, Chup, what website should we go? What website?
Because our roof has no holes.
Who should we thank for our roof not having holes?
We should thank the guys over at Messick Roofing.
What?
Messick.
Mesick? How are you saying that?
Sick.
A lot of times I can't remember things until you say it 4 times.
Messick.
Messick Roofing.
Messick Roofing. Messick Roofing. Messick. Messick Roofing. These guys have been doing roofing since 1962, Clay.
I'm not impressed.
Not impressed at all.
Continue selling me.
It's actually 1963 right now.
Okay, nice.
No, so these guys have been around for a long time in the Tulsa area. Get a hold of them at 918-747-7141, messickroofing.com. Get a free quote, free consultation today. And actually, if you guys call him today, Clay's going to give you a free copy of his book, Thrive. It's a good read. Messick Roofing, MESSICK roofing.com, 918-747-7141.
And if you want me to devalue your book, just bring it by the Thrive Time Show offices and I'll sign it, and then the value will go down.
It'll
sick. Trend downward.
It'll be sick.
Okay. So here we go. We're talking today with Annie Dixon and Colton Dixon. Now, Colton Dixon, for those of you who don't know, he appeared on American Idol, did well. Had been performing since the age of 13 before he got his shot that he worked hard to get there on the American Idol show. And he's been signed to a Christian label, and he is, I would call, a Christian pop star. In our office, when a lot of people heard he was coming to the office today, I think his father-in-law told us he was coming to the office. We were like, he's coming here? And so we had to get the fever pitch down a little bit. And then I said, what are you saying? No, seriously, just what is the deal? John translated because he speaks screamer.
Fever pitch, yeah.
And they realized they were excited he was coming to our office. So people know who he is.
Oh, Colton Dixon's coming. Okay.
Right,
cool,
okay, nice. Yeah. So he and his wife, they travel around together. They have a band, and they travel around together performing all around the country. And I want to ask you, as your stardom, as your success has arisen as a result of being diligent and consistent and focusing on the right things, it's got to have put a little bit of a pull, maybe a natural pull by default, on to pull you away from maybe your faith if you're not careful. And I know you're intentional about putting your faith first. So I want to hear, how do you fight that natural pull from, moving away from your faith or maybe not putting that first? I'm going to start with Annie's take on that. How have you kept faith a center in your family as you've grown? As you guys have grown together?
Yeah, honestly, I think because things just get so busy and there's just stuff coming at us all the time, it can be really easy to just kind of get lax with like that time with the Lord and like in our Bibles and just making sure that we're staying strong and firm. But even just putting in like certain times of the day where like, we come together and pray and we have our Bible reading times, just stuff like that to stay, just keeping that truth in us, because that's what's going to keep us centered and grounded.
So you guys actually schedule time to pray together?
We've started to, yeah.
Really?
No, it's really important, and I think it's changed things, honestly. So
I know for me, my wife is like this. She's very much the spiritual leader. And I know the Bible says I should actually be the spiritual leader, but I like to put her first. Chuck, I like to love. But seriously, my wife is like absolutely. When our son was born blind, I literally said, Vanessa, you have to stop praying. Like you're making me crazy. And if you keep praying out loud, I'm gonna lose my mind. And she says, but God's going to heal him. And I said, just stop it. Now, my partner is an optometrist, Dr. Robert Zellner. And so we went to the Dean McGee Eye Institute. We went to every possible place in the world where they, you go to these top places and these experts, and they all say he's not going to see. And I'm going, well, let's fill out the paperwork, school of the blind. Let's get it going. Let's do the whole Braille thing. Let's start quickly here. Let's go. And Vanessa's like, he's not blind. He just can't see yet. And I just could not handle that dialogue. Now those people who meet him realize he can see, and so he's a medical miracle. And I did not switch faith. I did not become a Christian. I didn't join the team until 2007. But I just would not. And even now, I don't get it. I believe in God, but I don't quite understand. It's like my smartphone. I have no doubt that if I call Colton, that somehow through the technology, it somehow transmutes my signal, my phone to your phone, and we connect. I don't know how it works. And that's kind of my Christian faith right now, I would say. No clue how it works, but I use the phone. And I have no doubt that it works, but it's kind of that. So I want to ask you, I mean, is your wife kind of more of the spiritual leader? Are you the spiritual leader? Are you equal leaders? I mean, what's going on, the spiritual dynamic with the faith and the profession? How does that look?
Yeah, what's really cool about my wife and I is my wife had such a great spiritual foundation before we got married. She was born and raised here in Tulsa. So she went to Victory and went to Rhema and just had a really great foundation.
Victory Christian School and then Rhema Bible College?
Yes.
Actually, okay. I just want to make sure if anybody doesn't
understand.
ORU. Rhema Church.
Rhema Church and then Oral Roberts University. So for anybody out there who doesn't know what Oral Roberts University is, my favorite author of all time, his name is Napoleon Hill, and he was the speechwriter for Franklin Delano Roosevelt during the Depression. And he was his business coach. And then Oral Roberts actually called Napoleon Hill and asked him if he would help advise him on how to grow Oral Roberts University. A lot of people don't know that. Oral Roberts University, he didn't know how to grow it. He knew that God had a vision, but he didn't know how to put it together. So he hired Oral Roberts to be his coach. And that's how I came to know of that journey, was by studying Napoleon Hill. So it's like if you're a Christian out there and you don't know what Oral Roberts University is, you should come see it at least once. It's a faith-based university where they put faith. And spirit, mind, and body is kind of their big thing. The spirit, mind, and body. They've updated the verbiage now, but spirit, mind, and body is kind of the thing. So you're marrying a lady who is spiritually grounded.
Yeah, and
did you grow up a heathen? Were you a heathen? Were you you all mixed up?
I was Southern Baptist, so
Southern Baptist,
one and the same.
Were you caught up in a gang?
No, I was not.
Were you originally signed to Death Row Records?
No.
Okay. So how are you? How are you raised? How are you raised?
Like I said, I was raised Southern Baptist, so our belief system was different. However, the main things were great. We were sold on that. But as we dated and we got married, and now almost 2.5 years in, I could honestly say that there are days where Annie kind of takes the wheel on certain things, and I can shift my mind to where it needs to be. And then there are days where I take the wheel and shift, and we go the direction we need to. And I think it's really great for us. We're also both firstborn children, so we like our hands on the wheel, but we balance it really well. Yeah, I hope that answers the question.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I'll start first, and I'm going to ask you the tough question. I'm going to start first here.
Okay.
Every 30 days, probably 45 days. I say 45. It's probably every 7 days.
7 hours, maybe.
Every 7 hours. What I do is I hit the crazy button. My wife has a button where if you hit the button, she'll go there, because it's like if I have a major ethical faux pas or I do something crazy, she's the kind of crazy person who will call me on it. You know what I mean? Where I will just so she'll be at Target shopping, and I'll say not a very nice statement, or I'll screw up. I will basically take our marriage to the bottom every 8 days.
We'll be kind. We'll say 8.
Yeah, so we might be driving to Oklahoma City to a cheerleading competition, and I'll point out, hey, it's an hour and a half there, an hour and a half back. They're performing for 2 minutes. And that's the kind of hate speech.
She'll point out, Clay, you're in the median right now.
And then, and then I won't talk the entire way there as a way to show my support because I'm just so like, oh, this is gonna be great. And then she'll point out to me, you are a father of 4 girls, and you're going to be there, and you're going to support them, and you are going to be a good Christian father. And I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to put up with less. Oh no, you are going to be a good. And I go, she is such a mean person. And then I realize it plays back in my mind when I'm in the McDonald's bathroom. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. She's right. And then I go back out there. I've been thinking about it, and basically, you're right. No eye contact is Mikey. What was that?
Sorry. Would you like some beef jerky?
Do you want to apologize? And then I'll go to Atwood's, try to buy some beef jerky, work it out, talk to a guy about meat, something like that. Maybe look at a handgun, come back home with some painted wood, and then apologize, and I reset. How often do you push the crazy button as a husband? Because there's somebody listening out there who's a husband who feels like they're alone by hitting the crazy button. Because I'm telling you, for me, it's about every 7 days, and it's always my fault. Upon further review, it's always my fault. I watch the game film. It's me behaving badly. How often do you hit the crazy button?
I feel like this is an unfair question because we're only 2.5 years into our marriage.
It's the perfect time to ask that
infatuation thing here, yeah.
Probably more often than I care to admit.
This is therapeutic for somebody out there who feels like they're, because I'm telling you, men, we are flawed humans, and women haven't figured out, and we don't know what's going on. We chase women around, we try to catch them, and then we don't know what to do once we catch them.
I love that my wife was kind of like cheering on your wife as you were talking about.
She's like, good job, yes. No, she's putting up with a man. She knows how it is.
Yeah, it's actually really funny that you say that because I would say 99.9% of the time it is absolutely me. Causing the problem. Yeah. All the men are in the room are like, yep. All the women are louder about it too. Yeah, that's right. But I would say, I don't know, once a week.
Once a week, and then now this is my move I've learned, is it's immediately apologize before I know what I did wrong. And then what I'll do is I'll go in the bathroom and that's where I do my great reading. And I'll think about, it's like where I go hide because no one else follows me.
Just stare in the mirror.
And then I'm like, I look deep into like the book, like the Chip Gaines book, and I'm like, just give me some wisdom here. What's in here? Something. And then I realize, I know what I did. I was mean or something obvious. But I just want to, give a marriage tip to a guy out there. Because I think there's like a man, it's natural to be obstinate. And you have to be somewhat obstinate to be successful. You have to be driven, focused, right? Yeah. But you also have to know when you're wrong. Talk to me about the balance of that.
Honestly, my wife is probably going to laugh or roll her eyes, but I think communication is the most important thing in marriage.
Verbally?
Yes, verbal communication.
I'm writing that down.
Not the visual communication.
Yeah.
Because that happens a lot. But even just in what we do, I just always need to know what is going through to the best of my ability because I am a man and she's a woman. What's going on in her head? What or how what I'm saying is affecting her. Because there have been a lot of miscommunications which blow up into this big deal, and I'm like, wait, just
here's I think the key. Cause I'm 37. I'll give you my little advice. Yeah, whatever you want to say, don't say that. Like listen to that inner voice and recognize that's the devil. Like, so you listen to that, get that still small voice.
Pretend like it's the trash that you don't want to take out, and you're just squishing it down, just pushing it down. Yeah. Just squish that.
You hear down. Like you go, I feel like I should say this. That's not what you should say. And then think about what she would say, and that's what to say. And that's the key to 18 years of marital bliss right there. I tell you that. It's an apologetics tour, the Clay Clark Apologetics Tour. When we come back, I want to deep dive into your music and what your music means. I want to get into some specific songs, what they mean, how you came up with them. I am super excited. And if you have a soul, go to ColtonDixon.com and check out his music. My man is talented.
Attend the world's best business workshop led by America's #1 business coach for free by subscribing on iTunes and leaving us an objective review. Claim your tickets by emailing us proof that you did it and your contact information to info@thrivetimeshow.com.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the Thrive Time Show on your podcast download and radio. For those of you listening from Portland, Oregon, what's going on? How you doing? I'm glad you have a green belt. I'm excited about Nike. I love the Portland Trailblazers. Really anything that you like, gray whales. I mean, Chup, is there anything you're more passionate about than gray whales?
I'm a gray whale enthusiast.
Chup, make your best gray whale sound for all the people in Portland. I think it's more of a... That's really nice. Now, Chuck, speaking of gray whales in Portland, let's do a shameless plug for one of our sponsors, right?
All right, I'm down.
Speaking of gray whales, let's talk about Paul Hood and hoodcpas.com. If you're out there on the beaches of Portland and you're out there counting the whales, you might say to yourself, I've got better things to do than do my own accounting.
Yeah.
I don't want to account for the whales by myself. I want to outsource that to a real
Professional.
to a professional.
Yeah, whale counter.
More of a professional.
Right. Bruh.
So you want to call hoodcpas.com. Hoodcpas.com, the best accounting firm I know. And I'm not just saying that because they pay me, but I am saying it 2/3 because they pay me.
That and he's
hoodcpas.com.
jacked. I'm kind of scared of him
He's
right
a physical fitness competition coming up right now.
Yeah, so he's all swole. He's down 20 pounds. Paul Hood looking good. Hood CPA is where you can get a hold of these guys. They're going to give you a free copy of Warren Buffett's book. It's his only authorized biography called Snowball, and an hour of their time. So get a hold of them at 918-747-7000, hoodcpas.com.
Now, Colton Dixon's on our show, a Christian pop music artist, and we're going to do kind of a deep dive into one of your favorite songs.
Like a gray whale.
So what's the first song we want to talk about here, Colton? What's one of your first songs you want to talk about here?
Yeah, there's a song I wrote on my last record, turned into be the title track of the album, called Identity. Yeah, and man, I looked at my generation specifically, being 26, just seeing a lot of young people having no clue who they are. They look at all the wrong things to dictate who they are. They listen to the wrong people, whether it's Hollywood, their friends, maybe even sometimes their parents telling them or speaking things over them. And again, faith being a big part of what I do, I looked to God's word to see what he said about us. And he said that we're chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation. He basically said we're kings and queens, and we should be living like that. And that just completely changed my perspective in a lot of things. So not giving in to certain things or selling yourself short. I just really thought it was important to live that way.
I wanted to give you some highbrow validation that you are, in fact, not crazy.
Awesome.
This is something that I've been studying for a while. I mean this. This is huge. I'm passionate about this. If you'll look up, if all the listeners will type this in, Chip, I want to put it on the show notes. But if you type in, is your smartphone making you dumb? That's the question. Now, this is the deal. Psychology Today studied the human mind and what the impact a smartphone has on it. Now, when if you have a smartphone, you typically will get 90 interruptions per 8-hour day right now. Which means that if you get a message, let's say someone that you used to date sends you a message, or somebody that's a former client or a former employee or someone you knew, or they write a political comment, what happens is the amygdala portion of your brain will turn on. And what happens is then your cerebral cortex can't fire, which means that you can no longer be mentally present when you're on social media. So being present, turns out, is a present. So you're on a date with your wife, but you're getting an endless stream of social media. So you're never actually there. You're physically present, but you're mentally not present. And there's another article by Psychology Today that says, does using social media make you lonely? It says, since the beginning of the internet, pundits have worried that computer-mediated communication would have an effect on our social networks negatively. Instead of going out and interacting with others in traditional settings, the fearmongers fretted people will stare at their computers all day typing messages to people they've never actually met. If you read the rest of the article, they point out that people now have more friends on social media than ever before, obviously. But this is the loneliest time. People now have the least number of friends in the history of the world ever. Right now. There are more people that say they have no friends ever with the advent of social media. So they have less friends ever, but more fake Facebook friends. And so you're talking about people that are going to come to your concerts, coming to your events. They're listeners, they're music fans, and they're feeling lonely, confused. They don't know their place in the world. And your message to somebody who feels like that today would be what? I mean, what is your message to somebody who's listening and goes, I have 1,000 Facebook friends. I have people following me on Twitter, and I feel totally alone. I feel helpless. I don't know my identity. I don't know. What would be your message for that person going through that?
I would honestly say shift your perspective. For a person of faith, I would point them to that scripture, which basically tells them who they are. The God who created the universe says that they're awesome. That's good enough for me.
Yeah.
But in that, you also are going to have to make a change. For me personally, we were looking at marriage, my wife and I, and I really started dialing back social media altogether. And it really, I think, helps us, maybe not during hockey playoff season. But apart from that, it helps us have better dinner together, time together.
Before the listeners out there think you're crazy, Paul Graham, who is the guy behind Dropbox, Airbnb, and Reddit, he has gone out very publicly talking about how he does not use a smartphone, does not allow it in his office, doesn't allow it in his physical presence because he wants to be mentally present, because being present, turns out, is a gift. And upon further review, Proverbs 18:22 states, he who finds a wife finds a good thing.
Great
and
thing.
obtains favor with the Lord. So apparently you have some favor as a result of you being intentional. Now, I want to get Clay Stair's take on this. Clay, you have a lot of clients you've worked with who've had massive successes as a business coach.
Yes, sir.
And you've also had clients that cannot be mentally present in a meeting. They're physically there, but they literally cannot turn off that phone.
Yes.
Help somebody out there who feels like they cannot ever turn their phone off.
Wow. Okay, is my daughter listening?
No, remember,
Okay.
you can never remember. Familiarity breeds contempt, and
Very
a prophet
good.
cannot be from his own town.
Okay, so we're not talking
not
to
your
my
daughter,
daughter.
it's other people's daughters.
Okay, so we're
Yes.
not talking to my daughter here. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I have just recently, get this, Clay, I've just recently changed on my phone. I've taken off all the notifications.
Oh, come on now.
Got to do
Preach
all
it.
the notifications, which is crazy. I've been hearing, just from around people doing this, so I did it. And now when I look at my phone, I don't know that I have 17 texts.
And you don't feel
messages.
anxiety.
I don't feel any of that. It's crazy, and then but you have to keep this in mind too, how badly you're going to piss people off when you turn off your notifications. Because they're going to be, can I say that?
Yeah.
So they're going to be going, oh my gosh, Clay, I've been trying to get in touch with you. Sorry, I don't check my texts until a certain time. But Clay, there are a few clients that I had when we first started out, before we had some of these boundaries, before they began to find freedom in their life, where they would literally come in and say,
I used to come over and you would always just talk to me. I would just show up at your house. All these boundaries now. What's wrong with you?
grow my
Do you not
company.
care about? I was on Facebook.
I want to grow my company, but I
sent you a
can't get off the phone. It's like, put down the phone. Talk to me.
Good Lord, I can't believe you. I used to send you tweets and you would respond.
I know, but
why do you hate me?
Loved
I'm
it.
on Facebook. I'm emailing you right now.
Yeah, I've just loved it. And how about this move? When they're in the meeting and they just turn the phone over. Ooh, now you're disconnected. Thank you for turning that over. Yeah, just turn it over. Now we're together. I feel good about our relationship. Just turn it over.
That's me.
Is that
Now we're
Rocky?
together.
No. We have a phone
Yeah.
turner over in our midst.
We've got a phone. We have a closet phone turner over.
Okay, we come back. We're going to talk about tips for screwing up a date with your wife with Colton Dixon. Go to coltondixon.com. He's a pop Christian music artist. And I'll tell you how I screw up dates by bringing a smartphone with me, too. Stay tuned.